We can go ahead and do various other options here. So we can do the filter on experience, or in case we want to specify only for the band A or band C, go ahead and click on band and you can pass the value as band A. That would filter up the records. So now let's do another example. Again, I would delete this, and instead of writing to a log row, I would write this to a output file. So let me have this here, and then row, then the filter. Okay, activate out file, and then row, and then filter. Or what do I want to do? Filter this up and then write it to a different file. Instead of this employee data underscore 7 would be my file name, and rest of the things will remain same. Employee country cannot be resolved or is not a field. Okay, something is missing here. Let's go ahead and see this. Okay, I have the differences in the schema, so I'll do a sync columns. If I do a sync columns, I have entire columns in the left hand side matching to the right hand side. Click on OK. Let's go ahead and run this job. Yes, it's successfully completed, and we have the employee data 7 here. Let me open this up. Yes, we have the 7 records, or the 6 records with years of experience less than 7 generated here. All right. So now let's go ahead and use an operator called tjoin operator. So what is that we want to do? We want to get a join of 2 files. So what I would do here we have 10 records, and here we have 7 records. I want to get the list of records that are present in this but are missing in this. So that means I want to join this 2 files, and I want to get the rest of the records that are not matching from these 2 files. So how can I do that? Let's go ahead and try achieving this using a tjoin operator. Okay, I'll deactivate all this, and let me go ahead and copy this. I still want to read an input file here, and let me activate this. What is this? So this is my first file. This is employee data file. So now I have one more data file also to be read, because I want to do a join on 2 different files. This is the first file, and let me write this. This is the second file. So let's go ahead and give names to this. This is my first file, and this is my, let me give this as my lookup file. This is lookup file. Let's change the data. This is employee data 7 or underscore 7. It's underscore 7. And what is this? This is employee data only. Let's have a look at the schema. Schema looks good. So now how do I join this? I use a tjoin operator. This is a tjoin operator. This will help in processing the data. So let me give a main connection from the first file, and then do a lookup connection. When I do a main, directly it would create a lookup. Because I'm using 2 different files, it would take the second file as lookup. You can always switch between main and lookup. You can just take this as lookup file and take this as main file. Whichever the file you select first and give a row link, that would be treated as main, and the second file that you give as input would be treated as the second file or the lookup file. Let's do a tlog row console print. And what do I want to do? I want to do a main. So main, what it would do, it would check for the common records between these 2 files and then print them here. So I want to do a inner join. So here, when we give the main row, whatever the common that the data that is there between these 2 files would come to the log row. But what is my idea here is, I don't want the common records, but I want to compare this and whatever data that is rejected when we are reading this file. So I want to write that to the tlog row. So how can I do that? I want to go ahead and select inner join reject. So whatever the data that it is rejected, that would come to the tlog row component. Okay, in order to perform join, we need to have a input key attribute. So that is, this is the primary key. So I want to join on the ID from the input, And I also want to join on the lookup. It's the same ID. So the row 5 represents the lookup here, and the row 4 or the main input key attribute is the first file that we are reading. So now let's go ahead and edit schema and put all these components to from the left hand side to the right hand side. How would you do that? Using a copy button. So this would transfer whatever in the left hand side to the right hand side. Click on OK, and then let's go ahead and run it and see. Yes, there it is. Let's change the log row to give it a stable. Yep. So these are the 4 records that are not having experience less than 7 or equal to 7. So what was our initial job that we did? We filtered the data using a Tfilter row component for the employees for which the experience is less than 7. So that we have written to a output file output underscore 7. What did we do now? We took a tjoin component and we did a lookup on the data file that has only employees with years of experience less than or equal to 7. And we tried to do a join with the full set of file which has 10 records with which we have experience ranging from 1 to 15, and we have filtered and we have joined and we have taken the rejected records who are not having experience or who are having experience greater than 8 or greater than or equal to 8 years of experience. So these are the 4 records who are having experience greater than 7 or starting from 8 to 15, because 15 was the maximum years of experience we gave when we are trying to generate the data using T-random generator. I hope this is clear. In this session, we have seen how can we perform transformations using tmap, and we have also filtered the data using Tfilter component from the transformed data. And further to that, once we have the T-filtered output generated, we wrote that to a file and we performed a join operator considering one of the files as the lookup file, and we have taken the rejections into a tlog row console. That is how we use this tmap, tfilter and tjoin components, which are like the key components that Talend offers. And there is a lot of functionalities that we can perform and a lot of business cases that we can solve using those 3 components. So I insist you practice this in your local machines. Try with some use cases, try generating some random data, and try with various use cases using these components, either with tfilter or tjoin, and especially try working with tmap. That will give you a lot of edge when you're working with the real-time data in your projects. All right. So in our next session, we would start with a new feature in the Talend Data Integration Studio.